especially to be here this evening. Our state senator, Fran Pavley, she represents us in the state senate, and it must be grueling up there. You got no money.
That's right.
So she's going to give us a brief update of what's happening in Sacramento, and so I'd like to introduce Fran Pavley.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be here. For those of you who live primarily south of the 101, I'm your state senator. If you're north, you might have Carol Liu. But I work collaboratively together with her. My background, raised in Sherman Oaks, Savannah Terrace, 50s and 60s, Sherman Oaks Elementary, Milliken, Grant High School, and my brother went to Notre Dame here and took 3rd place in the turkey trot at Thanksgiving time, which was his claim to fame. I'm looking for, see if there's some trophy, but he won a turkey for the family. That was a good thing. I live in Agora Hills now, and it's a pleasure representing 900,000 people in the state Senate district. Far more people than a congressional representative. The district stretches from West Hollywood to Oxnard, but a huge part of it is along the 101 through the San Fernando Valley. So it's once again a pleasure for me to be here. Richard asked me to talk a little bit about some of the things I'm working on that's directly relevant to issues you're concerned about. But before I do that, just another note on my background. I was very active in the Homeowners Association out in Agora Hills, served as an officer for years, went back to school, picked up a master's degree in planning so that I could be a real articulate voice on land use decisions, and spent a lot of time down in LA County on land use, as well as the Coastal Commission and on the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy. So that's a little bit of my background. And also this year, I am chairing the Natural Resources and Water Committee. So the reason I just got off the plane, water negotiations are ongoing in Sacramento. We should have negotiations completed hopefully by next week. And if you'd like more details about that, I'd be glad to fill you in. Back in the back of the room is Stephanie Mullen, who's going to raise her hand and wave. She's dropping off an email newsletter. Budget cutbacks. I don't send out mail too much anymore, but I use email liberally. They come out monthly, and there's supposed to be objective looks at what's going on in Sacramento, bills and other issues. Feel free to sign up whether you live in the district or not. Love to hear from you, of course. A few things I'm working on. The LA River is one of my priorities. I've actually had one hearing co-chaired with Senator Carol Liu, looking at the restoration of the LA River. Being a valley person that grew up here, I always looked at the LA River as just a storm drain. There is so much more potential. It actually would increase property values by re-looking at how we use the river as a way to just put water into the ocean as it barrels down through the LA River. So what it can be used for is recreational opportunities, multimodal benefits, as far as bicycle paths. But what I'm really interested in, chairing the Water Committee, of course, is the ability to reuse stormwater. Do you know if we capture stormwater and reuse it, we could save literally hundreds of millions of gallons of water that goes right on into the ocean. And it would be less expensive than importing all that water 300 miles up and down the state. There are technologies readily available. For example, this year I carried a bill that was signed into law by the governor, sponsored by Tree People, which is located right up here, up Coldwater in Mulholland. And they have some very good programs regarding capturing and reusing stormwater for irrigation purposes. Has applicability not only to homes, but is in businesses. If you haven't seen their facility, they have a huge cistern. And just in last week's rainstorm alone, in one day, they captured 36,000 gallons of water that they can use for the next 3 months if they don't have a water bill at their facility. So exciting things when it relates to water and how we can become more regionally sustainable, save energy, but also save on your water bills, your DWP bills. I'm also working on clean tech and bringing businesses and jobs to the San Fernando Valley. This Friday, I have a meeting It's a roundtable meeting with some top leaders. It's actually a green team in the San Fernando Valley, but why not include LA Valley College, Pierce, and Cal State Northridge in this collaborative attempt? Why not put in our businesses? Why not have San Fernando Valley create these new clean jobs of the future? So it's something that I've been working on for years in Sacramento, and creating a win-win on good for the environment and also good for the economy. So stay tuned to that. Quick update on the 405 HOV lane project through the design build methodology that I supported. The completion date is December of 2012. Seems like a long time away, but it's actually 6 to 8 months quicker than what was originally proposed through other engineering design mechanisms. And the fourth thing I wanted to talk to you about is I was engaged in a press conference just a few weeks ago with the California Highway Patrol. When I was in the Assembly, I actively supported a grant application of theirs to do more outreach as it relates to drunk driving. We have a real problem, not only all over LA, but particularly on the 101 freeway from Studio City all the way out to Westlake Village, 28 miles of freeway. From 2005 to 2007, 19 people died on the 101 freeway directly related to DUIs. Over 500 people were injured directly related to DUIs. So the CHP has announced that they had obtained a grant, a safety grant. They are working collaboratively with the LA Police Department and the LA County Sheriff's Department on outreach in all sorts of establishments and organizations that could assist in reducing the amount of people that are driving drunk on our freeways. And so you'll be hearing more about this, but one of the major areas they're targeting is underage drinking, sale of alcohol to minors, and those kinds of issues. A real problem, but nice to see a collaborative effort between our law enforcement people. And finally, chairing the water committee. Yeah, Richard's in charge of the book, so I'm a former school teacher, so I operate in 45-minute segments here. Chairing the water committee, I want to just give you a few reasons why it's critical that we look at the Delta and fixing our water supply. Did you know half of your water comes from the Delta as it circulates through Sacramento and travels 300 miles down aqueducts? We do have a crashing ecosystem because we're in our third year of record drought. We expect, because of climate change, more periods of drought. We're seeing earlier melt of the High Sierra snowpack. It snows at higher elevations, it melts earlier during the year, and so we don't have that water supply that sustains us through our long, hot summers. Also, if you haven't been to the Delta recently, it's surrounded by levees, 1,100 miles of levees, and you, collectively, all of us in the state, are now liable for any problems with the levees. And in the last few years, we've had several levee failures related to either flooding or other problems, and we had a risk assessment done, and the probability of seismic failure is real. What's happened the last 20 years? Now 500,000 people live adjacent and below the level of the levees. That's creating a problem. We also are experiencing some saltwater intrusion into the Bay Delta and sea level rise. So it's a huge challenge. So what the legislature is working on with the governor, hopefully in a bipartisan way, is a package of bills to address two co-equal goals. Develop a more reliable water system, and I'm pushing regional sustainability as well as a fix for the Delta, and also ecosystem restoration for the Delta, which is a magnificent estuary and really a treasure for all Californians. So thank you very much for allowing me to spend just a few minutes with you this evening. Always a pleasure, and best wishes.
Thank you, Senator Fran Pavley, and we appreciate your coming down from Sacramento to be with us.